Big announcement. So there is a new free course. It's an introduction to Qigong Theory and Practice course on longwhitecloudqigong.com. And so in this vlog I'm going to talk about that and also make a few comments about other things going on with me and with Long White Cloud Qigong at the moment. Okay, so I got the big announcement out of the way. There is a new course and it is free. So I will put a link to that in the description below in case that's something that you might be interested in. It's an introduction to Qigong Theory and Practice. And the purpose of the course, I guess it's mainly for people who are new to Qigong, but some people who have been practicing for a little while may also find it interesting and useful. And I guess when someone starts doing Qigong, it's such a rich practice and such a diverse practice. There's so many different teachers, so many different styles, and it's often taught in quite a piecemeal sort of way. And then on top of that, often in my experience, a lot of people take quite a mystical approach to Qigong, and so people might start doing Qigong and not even really know what it is that they're doing. They might enjoy it, they might feel some benefits and feel good doing it and that sort of thing, but they might not really have a good picture of what even it is actually that they're doing. And so the purpose of this course is really to give someone an overview of just some very basic information about Qigong so that they have a clear picture and context for the practice, and then also a practical understanding of how it works as they start to get into doing different Qigong practices, whichever practices those may be. So the course covers things like, right from the very basics of what is Qigong, what is Qi, the history and origins of Qigong, the benefits of Qigong, things like that. And then it looks at some of the practical details of how Qigong works, how we use the mind, the body, and the breath together to connect to and to direct our energy. And we do this in a very practical way with some practical exercises for people to do so they can gain their own start of an experience of how these different pieces work, and then how they come together in a very simple Qigong practice. So they can, put those pieces together, and then from doing that, I think that will set them up well, or it's a good start for then understanding other practices that they might do. So I hope that's going to be useful to a lot of people. Putting this course out there, I've been working hard at it. There's I think 23 videos in the course, so including me, I think about half of them are me doing things, and then about half of them are slideshows that I narrate over the top of as a way to make it easy for people to take the information in if they don't want to just read a whole lot of text. And so yeah, quite a lot of work involved in getting that together. And getting this out there, it's it marks, I wouldn't say it's not a starting point, but a significant waypoint along the way of a process that has started over the last little while and has been coming for quite a while. And so I'll talk a little bit about that now. So for the last, I guess it's 8 years, it might even be a bit more than 8 years, I have done the vast bulk of my work by donation. And if you've followed my blog, things I've written different places, you'll know I've talked about this from time to time, sort of given updates about it. And quite simply, it hasn't been sustainable. It hasn't been sustainable at all that whole time. And so I've had to, subsidize that work in other ways, getting involved with different things to sort of survive, really. But still, I've chosen to do things in that way. But the change has been coming where, I need to make it sustainable, because if I don't, I'm not able to teach as much or as well as I would like to, and I'm held back from offering as much as I would like to people because I'm simply not able to do it. And so I have indicated this over quite a period of time. This process was supposed to start quite some time ago, about a year and a half ago, but there were a number of delays that stopped things from happening, and then finally ready to start things moving on this, and then of course we've had this worldwide pandemic, which has really thrown a spanner in the works. And so I had hoped, in terms of as part of this, I'm rebuilding all of the course, the existing course material and things like that, and I had hoped to get it to a really high standard in terms of, the information is always good quality information, but much higher standard in terms of the video, the audio, and all of the different details around that. And just with the current situation, I'm not able to do that to the standard that I had hoped. So that's a bit disappointing, but it's one of those things where I need to move forwards, and I can't just wait for things to be perfect. So what do? You make the best of what you can. And that's the reality. I do need to move forwards, because as part of all of these delays, I have continued to run the courses in the old format, the existing courses in the old format, and which is great, because again, the quality of the information is great and a lot of people get a lot of benefit from it. But the reality of running the courses in those ways is it takes a lot of my time, both just simply in some of the teaching, answering questions, things like that, but also the administration and things, related to that. Even though I do have an assistant that helps me with some of that, a lot of it ends up coming back to me. And that means that I can't put the time into making the new materials, both just in terms of the improved materials, but also there's other Qigong practices and aspects of Qigong that I want to teach, and I simply don't get the time to put those in. So I need to move forward so I can change this and make it sustainable, and create a situation where I'm able to continue to teach people what I currently do, but also move forward and open up so I can teach some of those other things that I'd really like to teach, as well as just making things financially sustainable as well. So as part of this, getting this new course up, it has there's something else that in a way is almost even more significant, and that is all of the old course material on the website now no longer appears on the menu. So it's still there, so people who've used those courses in the past, and there are people currently using those courses because we have some running, they're still able to access the materials if they have links to them. It's all still there, but new people coming to the website can't see those old courses anymore, or they can't find them easily just off the menu, to create a bit of a gap, so that at some point I'm not running the old courses and the new courses at the same time. I'm able to make that transition and not have new people wanting to come in and do the old courses. They'll then just be directed to the new courses. So pretty significant change. In many ways one that I'm maybe a little bit nervous about, because it's such a big change. It's been 8 years. And so that's a big change in terms of how I'm doing things. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to go, and there is a ton of work for me to do in terms of implementing things. And again, I'm not going to be able to get it to the standard that ideally I'd really like to, which will probably mean I'll have to redo it again in the future. But this is life. We make the best that we can of our situation, and what we have to deal with. So interesting, maybe kind of appropriate that I'm making this vlog from here. Some of you, if you've done some of the courses and looked at some of the videos before, you'll maybe even recognize these rocks I'm sitting on, although this is not the same angle necessarily you would have seen them on. And behind there's a beautiful lake over there. And let's see, if we come this way, this is what you might recognize, and that is, I don't know if you're going to see the angle very well, but there's a little concrete platform here, and it's in front of, it's a quarry beside the lake, so it's essentially filled up with water and become a kind of a lake as well. And that's where I recorded one of my very, very first Qigong videos. I think it was 12 Rivers that I recorded there quite some time ago, when I started to make some online courses and online materials, because at that time I was serving as the secretary and registrar of the New Zealand Qigong and Traditional Chinese Medicine Association, and I would receive inquiries from people quite regularly, both within New Zealand and also all over the world, asking me if, saying there's nowhere for them to learn Qigong, and asking if I knew anyone they could learn Qigong off, and things like that, because at that time there really was very little information available, or widely available. If you went searching, googling for it on the internet, there wasn't much to be found, and people were looking for it. And so one of the things I came up with was to make some online courses, and it started with just one, but as a way for people to make a start. And in that course I tried to give people a very practical understanding, some things they could follow along, and I did it completely for free, and then little by little developed and added more courses, and more and more and more. And so this is kind of, in a way, the same place, one of the starting points of it, and in a way doing some of that same stuff again, making a very basic course covering some of the very basic principles of Qigong, to help them start on their path. So interesting times for me, tons of work trying to get things together. If you do follow, I guess I'll probably make announcements on here as well. I'm hoping I'm going to make some vlogs about other topics as well. I had a student suggest a few topics to me the other day, so I might make some about that. But yeah, I'll probably announce things here too. So lots of announcements probably coming up as I start to get pieces together for the new courses and things like that. Lots and lots of people now interested in starting to teach Qigong. Awareness of Qigong is really growing quite rapidly. It may seem like it's not that well known, but having been involved in Qigong quite in depth for over 20 years, the change is huge. I used to say, the difference between 10 years ago now, it's a huge difference. Now I can say the difference between 6 months ago and now, it's a huge difference in terms of the awareness is just growing really rapidly. So I want to be able to help people along that path, but I also need to be able to do it in a way that's sustainable for me, or I'm not going to be able to do it, not going to be able to do a good job of it, and teach as well and in depth and the breadth of things that I would like to teach. So working on that at the moment, doing my best with it. Anyway, that's my update for now. Bit of a long rambly one, but maybe interesting for a few of you. If you made it this far, awesome, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.